Hey, how you doing? Did you see the new channel trailer I made for the show? I did that because I wanted everybody to know that on Fridays will be some kind of a woodworking or home improvement video. Mainly because I know some people don't dig the art thing, and that's okay. I love art. I love making art, and in fact, most of my art or my paintings, all this stuff really starts on the table saw. I always say that to people. All my paintings start on the table saw, and I usually say that I build paintings more so than I paint paintings. But anyway, so Fridays, woodworking, follow up on a Tuesday, and then Sunday is all about art. Now, the main question on this week's video is from Adam, and he asked me, do I use a designated saw for straight cuts and then a designated saw for my mitres? And I don't do that all the time, but I do like this little Hitachi when I'm making a lot of frames. And it's also a pretty good job site tool because it doesn't weigh a lot. It's pretty small, and it's not such a pain to lug back and forth to the truck. But one nice thing that I've added to the saw, and a lot of guys do this, is I put a sacrificial fence on the saw. And that just makes it really easy to line up your mitres. And this saw needs a new fence. It's kind of worn out. So I'm going to make a fence right now, and I'll show you how to make it, and then I'll show you just why it's so useful. I like to make the fence out of MDF or plywood, and that's because I don't want to waste a nice piece of solid wood, and also MDF or plywood will be more stable. And this fence is made out of two pieces that measure 3/4 by 3 inches. And the length I like to use for this saw is 30 inches. Well, now I've got both of my pieces cut for the fence. I've got the bottom, I cut the bottom a little bit heavier at 3.5. And I guess you could even go heavier. You wouldn't want to go too heavy or you won't be able to see the numbers on your saw. And the next step now is just to nail them together and avoid any nails right in the center, maybe a 4-inch space in the center, because you wouldn't want to hit one of the nails with the saw blade. I just wanted to point out that these cut marks, they're just there. This is a scrap piece of wood, but they happen to fall in what would be the center of this fence. And also this area right here, you can see there's no nails. And that's important, again, because you just don't want to hit a nail with your blade. There's generally holes drilled in the factory fence, and you can use those holes to attach the sacrificial fence. Now, a lot of saws have a depth of cut stop, meaning there's generally some kind of a stop that you can set so the saw will only go down so far. This one doesn't happen to have one, so whenever I use this saw, I make sure that I don't cut all the way through my fence. Now, this is the main reason why using a sacrificial fence is so convenient. The cut in the fence here represents exactly where the blade's going to cut. So when I mark my wood for the next cut, all I need to do is line the mark up with the cut in the fence. And another advantage is you're less likely to get tear out in the back of the cut when you use a sacrificial fence. Well, that's a pretty easy modification, and it's really useful. It's nice to have more support for the workpiece, also to be able to add a stop block to the fence. And I often end up writing a lot of notes on the fence, especially when I'm on a job and working with like complex angles where you're not just working with 45 degrees. You can fill the whole fence full of notes, and then when you leave the job, you can just toss the fence away and make a new one. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on Friday.